All right, hello. This is David Burton with University of Missouri Extension, and this is a bonus edition of Neighboring 101, where we're hearing from some of the excellent presentations that were given by finalists at the Neighborhoods USA Conference in Jacksonville, Florida in 2025. And our guests today for this presentation are George and Sandy Taylor of Washington, state of Washington. They're going to talk to you a little bit about their fantastic neighborhood, the Lacrosse Neighborhood Association, and some of the programming they do there in Lacrosse. I think you're going to find this very educational and inspiring as well. So, George and Sandy, the floor is all yours, or the video screen as it is, I guess. Looking forward to your presentation.
Great. Thank you, David. All right, so we'll get started. The presentation covers the event program that we run, series of voiceovers and some videos, intro by Jimi Hendrix. Well, as I said, Jimi Hendrix was born in what is now Renton, and he's buried in the Renton Cemetery. He's on the lower right. The Seahawks have their training facility here, Boeing, Renton. And welcome from the recent egg hunt. That's one of the three major events we hold in the neighborhood. We're going to talk about those three. There are a number of other events. We'll get into that as well. Okay, well, the demographics of our neighborhood really mirror the city of Renton. It's about 60% Asian, 30% white, African American and Indian make up the balance of the 10%. How'd this all get started? Well, the neighborhood was built in 2001, and there was a homeowner who was particularly enthusiastic, had a progressive dinner at the holidays in 2001 to try to get new neighbors all together in a brand new neighborhood. That went well. Well, 18 months later, there was a decision to go ahead and hold a picnic in the park. And we started an event program within the HOA at that time. Well, we weren't part of that, but it started then. It was a big success. About 40 people attended. Well, now we host several free of charge events annually. And we find that the event management process is really key to our independent financial capability and our ability to replicate the events each year, and so on, and work with the city of Renton. The event management process is also critical now that we have more than 100 attending our events. There's a lot of stuff to do to make an event come off.
Hi, I'm Sandy Taylor, and I'm the event coordinator for the Lacrosse neighborhood. And in the following slides, I'll cover the processes we use to host events. We host several large events annually that are attended by more than 100 people. These events need volunteers, food, equipment, schedules, and a variety of support activities. We also have to work within budgets and audited financial processes that a HOA is required to do. As a result, we created a series of project management tools that help us sustain and replicate the success of our events. We've placed these tools in a guidebook that is in front of you. All of the events follow step-by-step processes shown in the guidebook. Everything from the initial event selection to post-event reporting is covered. My favorite tool we use is the project planning spreadsheet. This is a tool where we create action items, assign volunteers to complete the items, and identify when each item has to be completed. The event coordinator follows up to make sure everything is getting done. I believe our successes are due greatly to the energetic use of this tool. Individual event detailed budgets are developed by the event committee about 2 months in advance. For each event, budgets are developed and tracked with quotes and estimates for food, supplies, and miscellaneous services. Estimated volunteer hours are also developed and tracked. In-kind donations and services are identified if applicable, and grant applications or equipment requests are submitted to the City of Renton if needed. After each event, The committee meets to report on attendance figures, volunteer hours, collect photos, and reconcile expenses. We also document lessons learned. We ask ourselves, was the event fun? The information is not only important for our future events, but also important for the city of Renton when needed.
I didn't summarize that coming into it, but I'd like to now. Sandy is the event coordinator for the neighborhood, and we put a lot of things. I want to restate this for the video. The four things of the planning, well, the budgeting first, then the planning, execution, and then the follow-up, the wrap-up on how did it all go, and then putting that rigor into the planning for future events this year and next. We think that it's really critical to making sure that people have a good time and the events come off seamlessly. Now we're going to get into the actual events themselves and some volunteers.
Hi, my name is Allison, and I'm a 10th grader in high school. I love giving back to my community every year by helping out with our annual neighborhood egg hunt. Although filling up 600 plus eggs with candy might sound like a daunting task, the rewards are pretty great. Not only does it build up my sense of responsibility and leadership by filling up eggs and helping run the event itself, but seeing the young kids of the neighborhood having lots of fun picking up eggs on Easter Day makes it really special. I still recall the excitement of finding and gathering eggs when I was a kid years ago, and I couldn't be more grateful to be allowed to give kids in the neighborhood the chance to create special memories like the egg hunt did for me.
Photos from the egg hunt. Okay, the next major event is the game night and barbecue. We do this in the middle of June. Part of that is the chalk drawing contest on game night. There's a beautiful unicorn here drawn by Athena. She could paint the Sistine Chapel, as we say. She's also a volunteer.
Hi, my name is Athena. I'm a freshman in college. Being involved in my neighborhood has been a really meaningful experience for me. I've done everything from helping to set up events to working in the community garden and even pet sitting for my neighbors. These experiences help me build responsibility, leadership skills, and confidence that I can use later on in life, and allowed me to use my creativity to make a better impact in our community.
And then the third major event's the movie night and food drive.
Hi, my name is Cami and I'm in the 6th grade. Last year I asked if I could play my drums at our neighborhood barbecue and they said yes. I practiced hard for 4 months and played 2 songs in front of 100 neighbors. Playing in front of my neighborhood and hearing their applause gave me confidence and a sense of pride. Overall, my feelings, I was really nervous at the start, but then once I started playing the drums, I got really excited and really happy hearing all of the cheers and applause.
Okay, well, grassroots proof of success. It's one thing to say it's successful, but how do you prove that? Well, it comes from the energy that the neighborhood puts into it from the volunteer and participation side of things. We routinely draw 120 to 140 with a neighborhood of 123 homes. Our volunteer hours have exceeded 400 over the last 10 years. It's typically 40 to 50 volunteers each year. The volunteer numbers and the participation have remained really high, even though there's been a lot of turnover. There's people moving in and out of the neighborhood, and the HOA board is completely turned over. Further proof, well, this has become self-sustaining. Residents have come forward with new innovative events like the paint and sip. We're going to show you a video. This is held in our community garden. That's a fun one. So more proof. We have a number of informal events that are not officially held by the neighborhood, but where they're open to everybody. It's the big events make us all feel we want to be together more. And so there's a Diwali celebration, book swaps, garden construction. We do planning and maintenance parties in the garden together. So the larger events have led to more events where we can get together, and I think that's really unique among neighborhoods and anywhere that we've ever lived. So the Diwali, we have got some photos here on the left of that, and on the right, our most popular neighbor and the most popular 5-year-old I can think of is Atticus. He's our neighborhood mascot. He's really well known. Community benefits. Well, most of the 123 homes have participated in at least one event over the last couple of years. Many have been to all of them. Since we know each other, there's more of a sense of community, and we get the high rate of volunteerism and participation. Other big benefits, well, neighborhoods in great condition. We do the CC&Rs require a walkthrough, and you have to write up, mow your lawn or whatever, but we don't have any serious issues. There's little, if any, crime. The Renton Police Department tells us this all the time. Therefore, it's a safe place for our kids to play. And there's opportunity for kids to volunteer outside of school in the home. There's health benefits to working in the community garden, growing organic vegetables, and being active and social. And we've helped each other a lot in times of crisis with extreme weather, the pandemic. There's a lot of stories there. And and this is not just your neighbor right next door. This is throughout the neighborhood. Community outreach. Well, since the inception of the neighborhood, we've participated in charity programs. The big one comes to mind was a tsunami in Southeast Asia in 2004. We have food bank donations. We contribute to communities in school for at-risk kids who are at risk of dropping out. We do cookie fundraisers. The most recent one was for the Maui fires. And then we have coat drives. Partnership building. We're lucky enough to have some pretty well-known partners that are local. They have with McDonald's, Ace, and Starbucks. Also communities and schools. Our closest partner is the city of Renton, who we work with. They have tables and chairs and some of the things that we need that we use with our events, and they have a grant program we'll coordinate with them. And we have another volunteer to talk.
Hi, my name is Emma, and I was born and raised in Lacrosse. When I was 15, I helped plan our first outdoor movie night, which was honestly a lot of work, but ultimately very rewarding. During that process, I was asked by our event planner to design the flyer using my own creativity, and ultimately it ended up working out pretty great. The confidence that they had in me to design and draw it helped me believe in myself. It was also an early leadership experience, since I was given the freedom to make key decisions and coordinate with neighbors. Ultimately, I believe that the experience gave me a strong sense of accomplishment outside of school, and it helped me develop organizational problem solving and communication skills, ones of which I know I still use in my current career in finance.
Okay, in summary, we make sure our events are fun and that you get energy from attending. We are all volunteers, whether participants or the actual folks working to hold the events. The togetherness and the fun nature of our events leads to innovation and more events where we can be together. Again, restating, there's almost zero crime. There's opportunities for kids of all ages to have responsibility, of higher home values relatively, and healthy activities. Strong processes and volunteer energy plus fun events makes sure that you can continue this into the future. I talked about leadership opportunities. We have partnership with the city of Renton and other companies, and we've successfully shared our project management tools with other neighborhoods. So we know we put a lot of energy, and you saw the slides and Sandy's video and the voiceovers talking to the details of how you hold the events. We put a lot of emphasis on that. We think that's important. It's part of our culture. We found that the details, if they're managed well, will lead to a well-executed event that's fun and that you'll be able to continue to have happen in the future, even if other people are in charge. If you want to screw it up at start, don't manage the details. Things have to show up at the right time, at the right place, whether it's food, equipment, games, video screens. There's usually something on the order of 80 to 100 or more items that have to happen, and that works well. You have to emphasize that. Thank you, and a send off from the neighborhood. We'll end it as we started. Review him as the greatest guitarist ever, invented a way of playing, and we're a little bit partial too. So
Sure, sure. And I love the name of the neighborhood. My son played lacrosse in high school, so that makes me think of that, although that's probably not the origin of that name necessarily, but uh looks like a very active neighborhood, and I really do love the attention to planning that you've given. Um, that booklet sounds like a valuable resource, something that could be very helpful to other neighborhoods, no matter the size, but certainly smaller ones that are trying to get their legs under them. What were some early lessons for you all in that process of playing events? Were there some like low-hanging fruit opportunities that made a big difference immediately?
well, I think that and I'll answer for Sandy and just provide my own view, and Sandy can provide a lot more illustration, but there was always a process for running the events. And then, Sandy's and others' background in industry, Sandy with aerospace engine management with big companies, you get exposure not only for Sandy, but to others, and including kids, that here's a way to manage something that's very complex. We have to get 100 things done. Who's going to do what, and when does it have to be done, and how do we follow it up to make sure it all happens? It could be very stressful. Well, here's a simpler way, and it's a way that you can get exposed to tools that may not actually be taught in high school or college, but are used throughout sophisticated industries. So if you get used to dealing with that, and all the volunteers that you saw there, plus a lot of others, get to see that. And then when somebody wants to host a Diwali or do something else, hey, there's a way to do this and make sure everything kind of comes together, because no one person can do everything. Here's a way to divide up the responsibilities and the dates and coordination. Have one person follow up to make sure it's all happening. But that extra piece, I think, has led to consistent high attendance and a lot of energy and a desire to hold more events and be together.
Right. And then also, I learned that getting communication out there quickly or soon or early on. I created a neighborhood Facebook page. We post there. We also have a neighborhood email listing. It's posted there. We do, once we establish what the events are for the year, which is at the beginning of the year, we establish what are we going to do. I post those dates and what the events are, and I ask right then, I need volunteers. The success in these events is not only attention to the detail, but also getting volunteer participation. And I get several emails even at the beginning of the year when I say, mark your calendars for these events. And there's new neighbors that want to learn and be part of the neighborhood. And it's exciting to see that. And so I'll throw them, they're on decorations or whatever. So getting the word out early is helpful to get volunteer participation.
Well, it's very evident that you have a high level of volunteerism. I mean, you have good attendance at events, but your volunteer numbers is what really, I don't want to use the word shocking, but that's a really high level of engagement and volunteerism. So obviously people enjoy the process, they enjoy helping. I think your organization is probably a factor in that, right? They kind of know what's going on. And I love the testimonies where you had especially younger people saying, this is what I gained from that experience. So what a great learning opportunity for them, but the social benefits that come from that, people build those connections through volunteering too. So do you do anything to uh, like to recognize volunteers or anything to keep that momentum going with volunteerism, or is it just um, the event itself and what they gain from being involved?
Well, like I said, we do the post event committee notations and all that, but we also
Hmm.
on Facebook, I put all the photos up there and I recognize the volunteers. I've also had several of those volunteers who have now gone on to college and careers. Uh, I've written recognitions for them for their requirements to get into a certain university. So yeah, they get recognized that way. We also have once a year, we do a Neighbor of the Year award.
Oh, okay.
And it recognizes somebody that's gone above and beyond, um, like our community garden. One of the recognitions one year is our master gardener. She's in her 80s now, but we recognized her for helping us select the right, um, making it organic, um, uh, putting the right vegetation in. We've got private plots down there too that people can access. And she was just, again, she went above and beyond but she had the expertise and she wanted to share it. So
Yeah.
again, those are the kind of things we do just to keep the momentum.
And even during the events, we'll recognize, but somebody will have a microphone and we'll point out that, hey, we really appreciate the volunteers, and we'll point to everybody and say, and if you want to do this in the future, that really helps. We get that. And then
The other thing we do is remind the high schoolers that, I don't, most high schools have the requirement of community hours. I know at our public school system in Renton, it's, I think, 20 hours of community service. It's a really quick way and fun way to get their requirements over with for high school graduation.
we
Yeah.
even have kids from other neighborhoods that want to volunteer at the events because they've heard about it.
So that's another reminder, and it's a motivator to get volunteers.
Yeah. Well, volunteer recruitment and retention is something a lot of neighborhoods really, really, really struggle with.
Yeah.
And obviously you've broken the code on that. Not that it doesn't take work, but you certainly have a solid base of volunteers. That's pretty evident from what you shared. So I think that really adds value to the presentation and to the booklet you've put together. And we can make that available in the notes for the video, even as a PDF for those who want to learn more about how you've done it there. So really a valuable example and valuable lesson. I appreciate you being willing to share it and share it with others. Lacrosse has a lot to be proud of as a neighborhood and what they've been able to accomplish.
It's fun. And I think I would summarize it that we have a lot of X's and O's, the details, and then that's become part of the culture as well as the energy. There's some leadership. Sandy illustrates that. She puts a lot of energy into this, and everybody else that's part of these want to emulate that same kind of energy. And so that now has worked its way into other things that we also do in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, a lot of benefits come from that. You alluded to one of them, the low crime rate.
Right.
But the social connections, social and physical health benefits from all of that are innumerable, and you're doing a great job. Renton is wise to be supporting your efforts, and even wiser to try and duplicate it throughout the city and other neighborhoods. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. We were honored to be
Thank you,
nominated.
David.
Yes.